Right now, someone is lying in bed winning an argument that never happened. Out loud, in their head, against a person who isn't there. You do it too. The perfect comeback, the imaginary interview, the rescue where you're the hero. Almost everyone runs these little films. It feels like a private glitch, something a little broken about you. It isn't. It's one of the most human things your brain does. Harvard researchers once caught the mind in the act. They built an app that pinged over 2,000 people at random moments. The question was simple. Are you thinking about what you're doing right now, or about something else entirely? The answer stunned them. 47%. Nearly half our waking lives, our minds are somewhere other than the present moment. Half your life spent somewhere else. And there's one moment when this hidden habit goes into overdrive. A moment you enter every single night without fail. The lights go off. The room goes quiet. Nothing is asked of you. And your mind, finally unsupervised, opens a door. Behind that door is a machine in your head that switches on the instant you stop paying attention to the outside world. Scientists have a name for it. And once you understand what it's doing, those bedtime scenarios will never feel random again. It's called the default mode network. Think of it as your brain's screensaver. What plays when no app is open? For years, scientists assumed a resting brain was a quiet brain. They were wrong. When you disengage, this network lights up. It spans 3 regions deep inside your head, and together they do something strange. They build worlds that aren't there. This is the part of you that daydreams, replays memories, imagines the future, and wonders what other people are really thinking. During the day, the outside world keeps it on a leash. Emails, traffic, faces, tasks. All of it holds the network down. But at night, the leash comes off. No tasks, no faces, no noise. The network is free to run wherever it wants, and where it runs first is almost always other people. The conversation you dread. The one you wish you had had. Here's the twist most people miss. Your brain isn't wasting time in there. It's rehearsing. And there's a reason why. To understand why, we have to answer a question that sounds impossible. How does a brain remember something that hasn't happened yet? Because that, it turns out, is exactly what your mind is doing every night, remembering a future that doesn't exist. For a long time, we believed memory had one job. Look backward. Store the past so we could recall it later. Then, brain scanners revealed something no one expected. When people imagined the future, the exact same regions lit up as remembering the past. Memory wasn't built to record the past. It was built to do something far more useful. To simulate what comes next. Scientists call this the prospective brain. It takes fragments of things you've lived and recombines them into scenes you haven't. That awkward reply from a coworker becomes raw material. Your brain edits it, rewrites it, and casts you in tomorrow's version. This is why the scenarios feel so real. They're built from actual memories, the same bricks, arranged into a house you've never lived in. And it's not random which scenes it builds. Your mind keeps returning to the moments that matter most to your survival. Not survival from lions anymore. Survival in a world of people, status, belonging, conflict, and the fear of being cast out. Which is why the #1 thing you rehearse at night isn't a task. It's a conversation. Almost always a conversation. And that points to the deepest reason your brain does this at all. A reason written into you long before you were born. Imagine two of our ancestors, thousands of years ago, both about to face an angry rival at dawn. One walks in cold, improvising. The other has already played the encounter 100 times in his head the night before. He's tested the threats, the apologies, the escape routes. When the real moment comes, he isn't guessing. He's remembering a rehearsal. Which one survives? Which one keeps his place in the group and lives to pass on his genes and his restless imagination? Researchers call this threat simulation. The brain runs danger in a safe place, bed, so it costs nothing to fail there. Every embarrassing scenario you replay is a flight simulator for your social life. Crash here, and you walk away unharmed.
This is the payoff to the question from earlier. Your brain rehearses because rehearsal, over millions of years, kept your ancestors alive.
It also explains something oddly specific. Why you replay the argument you already lost, editing it again and again for the perfect line. You're not torturing yourself, even if it feels that way. You're updating the simulation, so next time the ending goes differently. So if this system is so useful, here's the uncomfortable question. Why does it keep so many people awake until 3 in the morning? Because a tool this powerful has a cost. The same network that rehearses your future can trap you inside it. There's a name for when it tips too far. Psychologist Eli Sommer called it maladaptive daydreaming, and it's more common than you'd think. About 1 in 40 people daydream so vividly, so compulsively, that it starts crowding out their real life. For them, bedtime becomes a trap of a strange kind. They lie awake for hours, not because they can't sleep, but because they don't want to stop. The story in their head is better than sleep, so they keep pressing play. Often there's a trigger, pacing the room, a repetitive motion, and especially music, the soundtrack that makes the imaginary scenes feel cinematic. And even for the rest of us, there's a real price. The more the mind wanders at night, the worse we sleep. Studies link heavy mind wandering to taking longer to fall asleep, more broken nights, and feeling foggy the next day. Remember the Harvard finding? A wandering mind was also an unhappy one. Drifting off, even to pleasant scenes, left people no happier. So the machine that kept your ancestors alive can quietly steal your rest. The question is what to do about it. First, stop fighting it. Telling your brain to stop imagining is like telling it to stop breathing. Resistance only turns up the volume. Instead, give the network a task it can finish. Picture a dull, familiar walk in complete, boring detail. It has nothing dramatic to build. Or write the scenario down before bed. Getting it onto paper tells the brain the rehearsal is saved. It can stop looping. And if the music is the trigger, that's your lever. Silence, or something slow and wordless, takes the soundtrack away from the scenes. But maybe the biggest shift is simply this. Stop seeing those nightly films as proof that something is wrong with you. That imaginary argument is an ancient survival tool, hundreds of thousands of years old, still running, still trying to protect you. The comeback you'll never say. The conversation that never happens. They're not glitches. They're your mind doing exactly what it evolved to do. So tonight, when the lights go off and the theater opens, you'll know exactly who turned it on and why. You can watch the show, thank it, and gently close the theater. Because you finally understand the projectionist. It's you. And if you've ever wondered why the same few memories haunt you on a loop, that's a story for the next one.